Hi guys, welcome back to an episode of DB Task, and today's episode I'll be showing you guys CarLite Mazda CX-3. So let's dive straight to this video right now. Alright then, so here is guys the CarLite Mazda CX-3 from CarLite itself. So yeah, so basically I'll be running through you guys the damages for this vehicle there's any before I show you guys the trunk space as well as the interior of the vehicle. So let me just start off with the damages for this vehicle itself. Starting from the passenger side, there isn't any obvious damage which I can observe from the passenger side, other than maybe some curve rash right there, and maybe just that. Moving to the back wheels, let me see whether there's any damages. No, it looks perfect at the time being, so that's good. The rear, there isn't any obvious damage which I can observe as well, so that's also another good thing. So yeah, not too bad. Let's move to the front of the car itself. So basically, if you guys didn't know, the CX-3 is like the baby version of the CX-5 and the other range version in their Mazda SUV lineup itself. So yeah, so basically later I'll show you guys the interior, which is very similar to the Mazda 2 itself. Cause if you guys sorry about that. So yeah, basically being the smallest SUV in Mazda lineup, it does share some components from the Mazda 2 itself, which I've already reviewed on my channel itself. So later on the inside, you will see some familiar buttons or layout in it itself. But let me just get back to the topic of the front of the car itself. So front of the car, no obvious damage other than the headlight right here has some condensation, which is an unfortunate thing. As you can see on the driver's side, there's no condensation at all itself. So another thing, I'm not too sure whether this is the hood is up or is it down. Is you can see this very big panel gapping right here, which I can put my entire finger around the whole of the front bumper and the hood itself, which is another thing I have to check later on before driving off itself. So yeah, moving along to the driver's side, there's no obvious damage which I can observe, which is a good thing. Other than the usual, look like the driver's side front rims are the most badly curved. So yeah, moving to the back, no obvious damage at all itself, which strangely enough the driver's side wheels are the most bad itself. So yeah, and in terms of tires, right, seem like they're not balding at all, which is another good thing for today's drive since it's raining. So yeah, last but not least, I forgot to check this side earlier on, but looks good as well. So yeah, and if you're wondering where the fuel door is, it's on the left hand side behind the rear passenger itself. So yeah, and that, let me just show you guys the trunk space for the vehicle right now. Alright then, now let me just show you guys the trunk space for the CX-2 itself. So to access it, just you press the button right down below here, press on that, and the trunk will unlatch, and basically you can just open it up, and this is basically what you're being greeted with itself. In terms of trunk space, right, it's not really a lot compared to its other rival itself, like the Kia Stonic, which has a slightly more bigger trunk space. But I'll probably put on screen right now how much trunk space this vehicle has. Plus, if let's say if you guys want even more space, you could actually fold down the rear seat by pressing on this button right here and push down the rear seat, and you have even more trunk space in the vehicle itself. But right here, what do you get? Well, that light which can be turned on if that is dark enough. You have a spare tire and the toolkit to change your spare tire itself. Other than that, nothing much itself. So yeah, let me see. I think you're able to raise the floor up. No, sorry, you're not able to raise the floor up. But seems like there's this thing right here which allows you to do so, but I don't think. Plus there's a rail right here and right here itself which you're able to do so itself, but I think there's a way itself. So yeah, if you want to, you can actually raise the floor up higher to that you have even more, so that if you're loading stuff through, it's much more easier itself, rather than being it so quite far down, if you can call it itself. So yeah, and that, to close the trunk, it's just simple. Just need to grab hold that lever right there, or you just grab hold any part of the car and just close it down itself. So yeah, that's basically that itself. Alright, now let me just show you guys the rear space for the vehicle itself. So One thing you got to know is the opening space is not really that big itself, unlike the CX-3. So getting in will be quite troublesome for taller people itself. And another thing you gotta take note when you're jumping is to duck so that you do not hit the top part of the car right here itself. So yeah, once you're in, basically this is what you're being greeted with. So unfortunately I don't really have much. This is the seating arrangement are based off the previous driver itself. So based off the last front passenger itself, I got about, I would say about fist of legroom space, so it's not too bad. Headroom space wise is also about a fist of headroom space, headroom wise itself, which is not too bad for the vehicle itself. So yeah, I think if I were to be slightly taller itself, I would definitely struggle in the vehicle itself. So yeah, plus I'm also almost sitting upright itself, and my head is almost touching the roof of the vehicle already itself. I can imagine if this vehicle does come with a panoramic sunroof, it will be very bad, because my head, I think, because one thing you gotta know is for panoramic sunroof, if with a panoramic sunroof, it does eat into the roof, the headroom space of the vehicle itself. So I think with that, you have really no space left in the vehicle itself, unless you were to slouch in the back seat itself. So yeah, and then what do you get in the vehicle itself? Well, you get some storage pocket right here, some space right here, you got some space right here if you want to put stuff, your door, your window switches right here, door release handle right here, and the same for the other side itself. Last but not least, you get grab hook handle, grab hold onto if the vehicle is cornering very tightly, and a hook right here to hook your stuff on, which is exclusively for the rear passenger itself right here and on the other side as well. Strangely enough, you get a center lighting right here, but it seems like not really working anymore, so yeah, the downside itself. So yeah, if let's say you do not want to carry 5 people in this vehicle, you could actually put the center armrest down, and you have even more space in the vehicle that you can rest your arm on right here itself. So yeah, there's also cup holders right here if you, let's say you do not want to put your drinks right there, or it can't really fit in that pocket right there. You can actually put your drinks right here itself, which is quite nice. So yeah, once done, just close it in and just put it back up, and you have your back, your 5-seater configuration, 3-seater configuration in the rear itself. Seating is one thing to take note is, anything you can't really see this right now, but there's a raised transmission arm right here itself. So carrying the middle person will definitely struggle in the rear itself. So let me just show you guys that. Apologize if you can't really see it because it's quite dark, but right now I'm in the center itself, and so legroom space size, it will be definitely a tight squeeze itself if in the rear itself. And I can imagine sitting 3 full-grown size adults in the CX-3 is not really the best itself. Plus, in my opinion, I think if you have slightly more money, I would rather go with the CX-5, because the CX-5 is a slightly bigger car, and I would say somewhat rivals the, I would say this rival the Honda Mazda. I think the CX-5 somewhat is a slightly alternative, better version of this. Plus, it's also quite a better comparison to the Honda Mazda, you can call it itself, and other mid-size SUV in the lineup itself. So yeah, overall wise, headroom space wise, not really a lot, because I'm almost touching the ceiling of the car. Legroom space wise, also not really the best itself, because depending on how the front people adjust their seat, I could have a lot of legroom, and at the same time I could have very less legroom in the rear itself. So yeah, about 4 fingers here and 2 fingers here. So it's just depending on how they adjust their front seat itself. So yeah, and that's basically it for the car itself. Visibility wise, for the driver wise, I would say it's alright, because you got a very decent sized window right here. Let me just close the door. You got a very decent sized window right here, plus also a smaller window right here, which you could see out to check your blind spot itself. But and that's basically that for the rear. Last but not least, before I move to the front, this is how the interior looks like. So like what I mentioned earlier on, this shares almost the same similarities. It's like almost the same interior layout as the Mazda 2 itself, minus the no, sorry, yeah, it's almost the same if I'm not wrong. It's just that, if I'm not wrong, the Mazda 2 has a single like that kind of air vent on that side, but yeah, it's almost similar, just that the CX-3 has this circular air vent, while the Mazda 2 has that kind of air vent on the center itself. So it's almost the same itself, almost. So yeah, but interior layout wise of the dashboard, if you guys can see right here, it's very identical to the other Mazda in the lineup during this generation itself, where you got the 3 AC controls at the center, you got your gear selector right at the bottom, electronic handbrake and your auto brake hold function, as well as a USB Type A port, as well as 12-volt socket outlet port right there, and your CD or DVD drive right there itself. So yeah, and the frame is also the same thing itself, which is, to be honest, quite useless. And yeah, I think this is a Bluetooth. I can't quote whether this is Bluetooth audio, but if you want, you can definitely try it on this vehicle, which I'll put in the description box below. But on that, for the time being, now let me just move to the front and show you more detail, more detail about this car. So let's jump to it. Alright then, let's jump straight into the vehicle right now. So stepping right into the front, this is what you're basically being greeted with. Yeah, like what I mentioned earlier on just now already, you got all the controls right here itself are basically identical to most of the Mazda lineup during the late 2010 era itself. So it'll be quite familiar if you have driven the Mazda 2, Mazda 3, Mazda 6, and the CX-5 itself. Some of the CX-5 and yeah, basically C and the CX-5 share the same layout of it during this era itself. So it is quite familiar if you are used to driving this kind of Mazda itself. So I won't talk about that, but you got your storage space wise, you got one area to put your drinks if you want to. You also got this weird cubby space right here, and storage space wise, you got another storage space right here. And if I have my small bag, I'm guessing my small bag will be able to fit in there without any issue itself. So yeah. Alright, move on to the final part. You got a center console right here, which is not really a center console because you're still able to access or put stuff right through itself without lifting this up itself. So I would semi-call this a center console plus at the same time an armrest itself. So yeah. Let me see what I want to talk about. Oh yeah, the steering wheel. Steering wheel, just very basic itself. Most controls are on the left hand side. So basically you got your volume control, your voice command, this to change the FM and AM radio if you do not want to touch it over there. Your pickup anchor, let's say this is connected to your phone. In center is your horn, and that's basically that itself. The stocks are identical to the other Mazda as well. You got your front wipers and rear wiper itself. Rear wipers are this right here, so twist it to adjust it or turn on. Front wipers is just right here, all the way up for one swipe, or down, up to off, and one more time up to for one swipe the wipers, and down one time for auto, all the way down for continuous swiping of the wipers itself. So yeah, and the other side you got your headlight switch as well as your high beam, which to engage high beam just need to push forward or push back to deactivate it. Flash your high beam just need to pull back and you flash your high beam itself. So yeah, indicator just down or up for left or right, and that's basically that itself. On the far right here, you got a start stop button to turn on the vehicle itself. So one press to turn on accessory power, and to turn on the car fully, just pull on the brake and it'll start the car itself. So yeah. Last but not least, you got your your window control switches right here. This for the folding mirrors. This prevent the people from Alright, sorry about that. These folding mirrors, you got this to prevent people from rolling down the windows, and this to adjust your mirror itself. So basically just twist it either side itself. And from my point of view, I don't know how the person drive, but you can't really see a door handle that well itself. So unless you to adjust your seat itself. So yeah. Alright, let me just start the car up for the brake. So basically this is how the car looks like. Not too bad. You got your lights right here to press on and off, and your sun visor right here, which comes with a very nice mirror, but unfortunately no light. So light, if you want to, you must on this side light itself. So yeah, and this also can be twisted to the side to block out the sun coming from this direction, or you can twist it back again to block it coming from right directly at you itself. Alternatively, this also does come with a card holder, so if you want to put your card, you could actually put your card right here itself. And the same for the passenger side, just that it does not have the card holder itself. So yeah, and this also can be twisted to that side itself. So yeah, right here just got an off and on switch for the center lighting itself, and the center when the car doors are open itself. So yeah, all right. As usual, this I'll be talking about the gauge right now. So as usual, you got your gauge that's very familiar from the Mazda 2, 3, CX-3, and I want to say the Mazda 5. No, it's not the Mazda 6, and I'm not too sure whether CX-5 have it, but it should. But I could be wrong at the same time. So yeah, but basically to adjust all the various controls right here, just press on this thing at the top, and you see you change at the side right here. Your mileage, then your trip A and trip B itself. So to reset it, just press and hold, and you reset that itself. So yeah, and that is basically it for the vehicle itself. I won't be going through the infotainment itself, neither the AC controls, because they are very familiar already. So if you guys want to know more about that, you can check out my other Mazda review itself. So yeah, and that for time being, that's all I have to say for. Oh yeah, last but not least, you got your iStop button right here, which is to turn off the stop start, and your traction control button right here, as well as your headlight dimming switch right here itself. So yeah. Also, if you're wondering, this is how the key look like for the CX-3 itself. It's just very simple with the lock at the top and unlock at the bottom itself. Unfortunately for this vehicle itself, the key, the unlocking is not working, so you have to lock it with the manual key, which is right down below there itself, and to unlock it, just press on that itself. If you're wondering how to access the engine compartment, it's just this lever right here. Same goes for the fuel door itself. So yeah. Alright then, before I end off the video, let me just show you guys how to adjust the steering wheel as well as the seat. To adjust the steering wheel on the CX-3 itself, just need to look for this lever right down the steering column, pull on that, and you're able to adjust the steering wheel. Once done, and just lock it in place by locking this in. Then for the seat itself, to adjust the seat itself on how forward, how back, is this lever right here. The height of the seat is right here itself, as well as the angle, which is right back there itself. And that is basically it for the seat adjustment for the CX-3.